Welcome in SpeedGaming, Game 2 of the doubleheader we've got here on SG Main of the Super Metroid Dash Mystery Tournament. This Game 2 we've got Iron Rusty and MassHesteria. This being the only 3-2 versus 2-3 matchup, and remember that 3 wins is what you need to make it into playoffs, so Rusty just fighting for better seeding, and Mass actually fighting for his life in the tournament. Got a pretty exciting race here. I am Derp, joined by DJ Webb. How you feeling?
I'm really excited. Like you said, this one is one of the more consequential. It does make a difference in how big our bracket ends up being. Have a personal vested interest, both in the sense that Mass is my buddy and I want him to do well, and also because of the way that my opponents worked out. A win for him does strictly increase my Buchholz. So it would be great for me if he wins. I will do my best to provide insightful commentary, but I am quite biased in what I want to happen here, but we'll see how these things go. And like you said, 3-2 versus 2-3. These two have actually completely opposite paths through this tournament. Rusty started 0-2 and has won 3 in a row. Mass started 2-0 and has lost 3 in a row. I may have something to do with that.
Yeah, I will say, obviously, I do want Mass to win, given that he is a fellow Dash dev, but I also kind of want Rusty to win because that would improve my Buchholz, so I am neutral in the sense that either way, I'm happy with the outcome. But sad to see a loss. Would obviously be rough for Mass not making the playoffs after such a strong start in the tournament. We'll have to prove it here. We do have another seed that is not full countdown and does have some form of starter charge beam, so we'll see what the settings are this time.
Yes, they are. Back here with our mystery parameters, we have to discover what our settings are as we progress throughout the seed. And Mass has a distinct advantage because he coded it, right?
Yep.
That's a joke.
Mass programmed the morph ball to be in the morph ball location.
So we're looking at either a major minor split or a Chozo split, and the E-Tank technically doesn't tell us, but it is a pretty strong hint towards major minor. I have said that and then immediately seen an E-Tank to the right of here and it being Chozo, but not the case this time. Missile and a super.
Yeah,
no late supers. We're already off to a better start.
Unfortunately, no power bombs to check any of the other locations or the portal. I think in a situation like this where it's technically major minor, you still really want to be checking that 230 in case it is Chozo and it was just a lucky E-Tank in the ceiling. Yeah. But that will not be available just yet. Both runners having very similar early games.
It's always fun when you have one person who goes Brinstar E-Tank room first and one who goes Alpha Missile first. They were pretty close there. I think Mass was a little bit cleaner with a little bit of a lead here. He also is not a Moonfaller, so I think Rusty Moonfalled. So, should be a tight one through.
Neither of them. Actually, no. Rusty Moonfalled, but he did the backup because he got caught on the ledge. So it ended up being close to even.
Yeah. Now we've got the dueling ledge grab versus wall jump climbs. Also fun to see. 2 strategies pulled off side by side. Pretty time equivalent between them. I'm a wall jump climber who kind of wants to switch to ledge grab, but I've never bothered actually learning it, and it feels like something you probably should actually learn if you're going to switch, although frankly I never really learned the wall jump climb, I just kind of do it. Yeah, the ledge grab actually kind of looks cooler.
Ledge grab's also pretty nice if you find like an early ice beam, means you don't need to turn it off, because with ice beam doing the wall jump climb is quite annoying. And we do see another seed where the bombs are in their vanilla location, meaning we will have to see a bomb to Rizo fight, but luckily with the super missiles we'll be able to do this very quickly. Just 2 supers does the trick. If you want, you can actually do 2 missiles and then a super to avoid the little chest shattering open animation that you see from both runners. But either way, it's a very quick fight.
Yep. Small optimizations, and the bombs do let you check the 230, and we are still ambiguous. It could still be both Chozo and the major minor 230 better in that sense than you would maybe thinking. Like, if you knew this was major minor, you could definitely option away from this without knowing that it could also be Chozo. I definitely think you should check this.
Yeah. The odds of actually getting information here are a little bit low, because if you find ammo here, then it doesn't really tell you anything. It is a power bomb, though, so definitely nice to have. Not regretting it no matter what.
For sure. First power bombs here. Rusty, with that save, I actually think he's going to be looking at Gauntlet.
Seems like it.
With the tank and bombs, isn't too bad, but power bombs definitely speed up the Gauntlet section by a significant margin. So Mass probably not going to be doing that. Just going to be heading to Terminator, which again could finally tell us if it's an ammo. If it's not an E-tank or a reserve tank, it'll tell us for sure.
All right,
there it is.
Yeah, Bomb Gauntlet, a place where you can actually lose a lot of time. Every asset cycle is about 7 seconds, and you kind of have to wait for them on this low energy. So if you aren't executing quick enough, then all those time losses can really add up. Rusty has to be careful.
Nice use of the spin jump animation to get wedged in there, and it gets the bomb stall up there. So I was looking specifically at Rusty, but it looks like we got vanilla map.
Looks like it. Just another E-tank here at the back of Gauntlet. Hopefully Rusty at least finds a power bomb pack to not fall too far behind. Does have those vanilla bombs, so there's nothing super bad about not finding a PB. Really would just be the Wavegate location. But
and Edakuns, but
oh yeah, and
I don't know if Mass. I don't think. Well, there's one here, so he's gonna be pretty alright regardless. You can hit that with the bombs.
Yep, so doesn't need to worry. Unfortunately, just ends up meaning that the Gauntlet play did not really pay off. But Rusty was able to make it through, and does have another E-tank, which is non-trivial, especially in a vanilla map situation.
Yeah, we'll see how this progresses here. Couple of unique items already with the bombs and the Spazer acquired. He does get those power bombs there, so pretty much parity ammo-wise, and especially with that starter charge. Missiles specifically can be quite devalued depending on how your beam ends up throughout the run. We do already have one of those upgrades. But the supers not coming very much so far, so only 5 for Mass. And Iron Rusty also didn't see any there in Gauntlet, so definitely going to be looking for a few more of those regardless of how the beam turns out. And there's another beam upgrade. We'll get to see if this is starter or starter plus.
Looks like it is starter plus. So once again, still do not have that full beam upgrade just yet for Mass. Still looking for a couple more beams to increase the firepower here, as this would not be a very nice Ridley or Mother Brain fight. But we've got plenty of item checks coming up.
Yes, going to be headed to the big pink area. A couple miners in the room, plus the major at charge, and then we've got wave gates with the major and waterway if we can spike speed in one of those two.
Yep, and then we also have the majors after that in Red Tower. I'm not sure if the runners are comfortable with the early X-ray, but I do think, especially in vanilla map, it's pretty important because it can actually be kind of awkward to route it back.
I would say I don't think I've ever seen Mass do it. Rusty, I'm a little bit less familiar with, so I wouldn't know. But we do have the ability to get one of the nicer ways to get through there, as Mass is opening that door and then coming down here. A little bit interesting pathing, but probably not a huge huge difference. Unless exactly speed is at wave gate, basically.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this big pink routing, but it doesn't make a huge deal, as you mentioned. Which means Mass has to climb back up a little bit to get back to that door. Was potentially looking for Wave Beam, actually. It looks like, given the Mass's farming supers, may not be super comfortable with this trick.
Go
ahead.
I thought that the miner down here was a super, and if that's true, that would mean Mass somehow skipped the bridge super, which doesn't make any sense to have done. But it does look like he got it nicely done.
No, the charge missile was a missile, I believe.
No, this one that Rusty's picking up. See how he has 15 now? Mass definitely got his second one right there. So he skipped the super under the bridge.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. Maybe he thought he was a missile and misremembered. That would be the most likely scenario, in my opinion. I know Mass likes to.
Happens.
Mass has definitely throughout this tournament been trying to get advantages in smaller ways, like skipping some miners or trying to take different paths from people. Mass definitely has some experience in this game, randomizer and vanilla, but not some execution behemoth. So definitely of the opinion that I'm gonna win by doing something different than I expect my opponent to do. And he did have some success, especially early on. Sometimes those things just really don't go your way, and also sometimes it kind of doesn't matter if your opponent is a lot better than you or the items just don't break your way. No easy access to X-ray. We also really don't have a lot right now. We've got a couple of beam upgrades, those vanilla bombs, but this is
not been the most fruitful early game. Looks like Master's just gonna skip the X-ray for now, but is going down. Gonna get that Spazer check, and then we'll most likely at least check the boss at Kraid. With the settings we have, there is a above 50% chance that it is a beatable boss, either Kraid or Phantoon.
Yep.
So we'll see what Rusty decides to do as well as he finishes up his big pink checks.
Those numbers are really interesting to think about, especially in a vanilla map situation. The odds for Kraid and Phantoon's lair are the same because those are the two killable bosses. It's somewhere slightly below 64% that you can kill the boss, whichever one of those you go to at the beginning. But because of the way that the map is laid out, if you can't kill the Kraid boss, there's still items down here. If you can't kill the wreck ship boss, you're just coming down here. So it's a little bit safer overall, especially for getting items to just go this way. However, the wreck ship is always potentially fruitful. The biggest punish for going up there would be specifically shuffled Phantoon being down here, but those exact odds are pretty low given shuffled is only 30% and then Phantoon would have to be exactly here again. So you go with what you want and see what the outcome is, as we are going to get this save.
Yeah, looks like Rusty is also following in Mass's footsteps. Not going to be checking the X-ray, but is going to be going down. I assume we'll probably see pretty similar plays from both runners for a while then, actually. So it'll be a lot of execution deciding the position of the runners from here, at least for this this first little bit. So we see a Ridley, it looks like, at Kraid.
Shuffled Ridley.
They were in Lower Norfair, so it is boss shuffled, not shifted or surprised, which is honestly pretty nice information for both runners. Know that they won't have to worry about running into a second Ridley, for example.
Yes, indeed. Probably that means that coming down here was better overall, regardless. No, getting the shuffled information even without being able to kill the boss unlikely that Fantoon is vanilla in a shuffled boss scenario, but that Kraid E-Tank, that's, in my opinion, the worst location in shuffled bosses Major Minor, because Kraid's not here, so where's Kraid? When do you get back to that, if ever? You just kind of hope it's nothing, but who knows what that location holds. We're going to come down to Upper Norfair. We've got 5 tanks on Mass's side, 6 on Rusty's. This is the place for sure that gauntlet check will potentially pay dividends, as Mass is coming to high jump first. A little bit uncommon in vanilla map, because
Yeah, with this many E-tanks, you want to be going to ice first, because if say high jump is an E-tank, which it isn't, it's the second charge upgrade, but you can get the refill from the E-tank before going into the hell runs.
Yes, indeed. With the charge upgrade found, it is inconsequential because there is no energy refill. But
Well, it does still matter, because you would get all the farms from the bugs, on the way down and up from high jump, or the
that's
Sovas,
true,
rather.
yeah.
So it's still non-trivial, but it's not a huge deal for Mass. Had to kill the Sova.
The power bomb he laid feels like it should have killed it, so I don't know how it didn't. He definitely killed it on the way in and then missed the door shot and then thought about coming back and then didn't. But yeah, save scumming this also gives you the ability to get your energy back. But depending on what that item is, you may want to keep it, but
yeah, it could be like a high jump or something, and then you definitely don't want to reset that, but then you're still losing all the health.
Yeah. See if Rusty, oh, he's also not going there first. We'd play less and less vanilla maps, so this knowledge is probably a little bit less commonly known, or in the mind frame of runners. But especially here, these are the kinds of things that can end up mattering in a pretty tight race still.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of these little optimizations in vanilla maps that, well, I still wouldn't say that makes me prefer vanilla map over area. They're definitely interesting to think about. Like, that is one of the bigger ones, is going to ice before high jump, just for a little bit more health coming out and going into the hell runs to Bubble Mountain. Rusty actually gonna skip that missile.
He did not want that missile, and he made sure everyone knew it. But double non-E-Tank here, the second charge upgrade, as well as the grapple beam. I think that actually makes your decision to just kind of go up pretty nice. You can now get X-ray if you want to. We do have the energy where probably one farm through, a save, and then another farm through would get you up. And especially knowing shuffled bosses, it's actually still a little bit less desirable to go up, but it would definitely be on my mind to say, hey, let's just take this into X-ray into Rex ship. And you could kill the boss there if you're comfortable with high jumpless grapple escape no matter what.
Yeah, if you can do that, then the boss at ship is always going to be beatable. Looks like with how much Mass is farming, maybe
the farms didn't go well. You got a bunch of missiles.
Did not get a lot of health, and actually decided to just bail. So the bad RNG may be impacting Mass's decision, but either way, he is out of Norfair for now.
And Rusty with a little bit cleaner hull run and that extra energy tank, in a position to just do the hull run proper. So we'll see. This could be quite the zigzag for our runners if Rusty just decides to head towards Bubble Mountain. There he goes.
Once again, did not actually get a health drop. I don't know if he got a drop from that Sova. It's a little rough, but had about 500 energy entering the room. Pretty much any runner of this caliber will be able to make it across with that much.
Yeah, especially with all the ammo he has. He does still barely have the ability to Crystal Flash if things go awry. I don't know about the energy cost of rolling under here with no suits, but it's by far the easiest and most comfortable way to get through this room. But yeah, especially at the end when the lava comes up, you probably don't want to be taking all of that damage. So there's a super. He looks to be thinking about Croc. There's another energy tank. I always find it funny. If you want to scout this, you really want to weigh that power bomb to the left. That way, if you dip, you can actually beat the little elevator.
Yeah, I think with bombs, the best strat going into X-ray is actually to shoot the first gate and then just bomb up instead of using a power bomb, and that puts both gates in position. But that's, again, a very small optimization that doesn't really matter too much.
I think we're gonna bet on Croc right away.
Looks like that's what Rusty's doing. I don't love the play as somebody who used to do this a lot when we were only running vanilla map. It is less items for about the same time commitment. But we'll see if it pays off, and even if it doesn't, then Mass is still going the other direction, so Rusty can just pivot to Bubble Mountain proper. And if that's something, then it still puts him in a good position, potentially. I think Mass is already at the point where he needs to powerbomb the Rippers. Never mind. Makes it. Even with the weird position.
My preferred ways of going through there, as we find the reserve at the first Croc item, are the intended way, which is with ice. I like doing the space jump, but usually, if I have power bombs and I don't have ice, I'm just gonna freeze, or just gonna power bomb. I'm gonna jump up there, power bomb the top 3 in the shot block, and then just jump back up. I am not skilled enough to dodge those things, weaving with those tight little wall jumps. If I'm gonna fall down, I'm gonna fall down of my own free will.
I mean, even some of the top rando players opt to powerbomb those Rippers pretty often. Like, I know Kip does it almost all the time, and I believe Audra does as well. A lot of the really good vanilla map players will do that. Although I guess that's not really a vanilla map exclusive situation, since going up red towers something you do quite often, as it turns out.
Yeah, I don't believe Mass has taken any. Well, he took a save post getting grapple.
Yeah, the save in ship is not active in vanilla map.
So... It is in boss shuffle though, and we already know that's the case.
Oh, okay.
This is major or minor.
Still quite a backtrack, taking the save and then having to reset out. So I don't know if Mass is comfortable with the high jumpless escape. And if he's not, this could end up being quite a detour back.
That's what I was thinking. He has a post grapple pickup save that he could elect to reset back to if this does end up being Dragon. And he's, like we said, not comfortable with the high jumpless grapple escape, which I don't know his level of familiarity or comfort with.
Rusty actually farmed up to full supers for this gate glitch, so he's got 25 tries at it.
He only needed one. I think just generally, unless this is exactly Varia, having all of your resources is pretty good, as we have vanilla Phantoon in shuffled bosses. So potentially a really good outcome for Mass, depending on what's here and what's elsewhere. But very, very fascinating race here. Is it space jump? For
non-zero items? Hoping for it, Croc, but at least it's a good item. Help you're moving around Double Mountain, especially without any other movement items.
Yeah. For lone movement items, you're probably most happy with Space Jump. I think there are people who've even said that on its own it's probably the most time-saving one, even over High Jump. And yeah, especially those Bubble Mountain jumps, the bane of my existence. Don't have to deboost over to Norfair Reserve. Wave Beam kills me way more often than I would like. You can Space Jump across those spikes. It's really, really good. Basically every room.
Just being able to fly is quite powerful, as it turns out. But Mass finishes off the Phantoon. I think got like 3 fasts and a mid or something. It was a very quick fight, even though it was a 4-round.
Shout out to the Ghost, giving us good patterns. It's rando, so it isn't going to stop a world record if he slows us. We're going to be seeing Bubble Mountain. Mass is going to be looking at definitely right super. I I assume he can sponge bath, but it's again that's one of those strats that's not as common in area as it used to be, and that is his only access to E-Tank unless this item here gives him one. And because we've seen Space Jump, that's less likely. But Ice Beam, a nice find for sure. We have not seen a Batoon hallway item, although it's shuffled bosses, so a little bit less likely to require one of those.
Yeah, and so, like you said, we will see if Mass wants to go for the sponge bath to the E-Tank. I'd imagine he takes the safety save before either way.
Yeah.
Can also reset out of the item if it's nothing good, although at this point, even an E-Tank is kind of something you want to keep.
As we find, I believe, a vanilla reserve over here at Norfolk Reserve. This room also, like, Space Jump trivializes the Norfolk Reserve Hell Run, which is, in my opinion, the worst of the three.
Yeah, it's definitely the least health consuming if you do it optimally, but it's one of the trickiest to do optimally compared to, speed where you just hold right, and wave, which is a little bit trickier, but something that anybody with a decent amount of vanilla experience has done quite a few times before.
And Mass is actually electing to just go bowling first. Which I saw him do this in his week 1 race, but he had speed so he could get both items. Without speed, this
definitely tells me that Mass is not comfortable with Sponge Bath.
Yeah, he's got the bombs for unlimited tries, and the trick isn't any different with bombs versus power bombs to my knowledge, other than the lack of lag that the bombs create.
Yeah, but the lag is all after you actually get the trick, so it shouldn't make a difference.
He's got no worries about the spike room, does have the grapple beam, but there's Varia at speed.
There's Varia. Is Rusty comfortable with high jump plus dive?
Like I said, I'm a little bit less familiar with his game, but he strikes me as the kind of guy that probably is. But yeah, that's definitely looking like a play that could be fortuitous here. There's the plasma beam. Not going to be getting that unless gravity is speed, in which case I would definitely turn around for plasma. But
oh yeah, absolutely.
You have Ice Spacer and both charge upgrades, so missing plasma not potentially the worst thing, especially if we do end up finding wave. You'll have a comfy, nice beam. But at least for now, this Upper Norfolk looking to be the place to be. We've got one more major here at wave beam. But frankly, we're down to like 3 places that have to have some sort of progression, because like we were talking about that bootless dive, it's not in logic. You do very much need the high jump boots or the gravity to put Lower Norfolk in logic alongside that Varia suit. So
well, they have Varia, so now Ridley is actually in logic.
Oh yeah, Ridley, that's right.
I guess that makes it 4 total spots where progression could be.
And it's not at wave beam. Wave beam is vanilla. So if Mass can find a way to do the E-Tank while he's up here, or potentially just get an item here, it's possible that despite it looking like Iron Rusty's play was indeed the fortuitous one, Mass could still be in a decent spot here. As chat confirms that Rusty capable of bootless dive, but I'll have to see if that's what he likes to go for. I think you almost certainly do. I would have thought a save first.
There's the speed booster.
We are going to see that plasma, almost certainly. So
yep. The other scary thing for Rusty here, though, is even if you can do the bootless dive, we know, and he knows, that the boss here is not going to be Ridley, and it's a 50-50 from the knowledge we have that it's Dragon, so not only do you have to be comfortable with bootless dive, you also kind of have to be comfortable with bootless grapple escape to go for a play like this, and I think Rusty may be having second thoughts. Was going down that direction, but I don't know if he just didn't want to go the speedless speedway, or this is just had second thoughts on the way down, but Rusty's actually going to bail here and come join Mass up at the ship, which I think is actually really good for Mass, by the way.
Or just kill Ridley. We did talk about that could be Ridley. Progression
could do Ridley first, you're right.
Yeah, but we traded one spot for where progression could be to another because we found speed, which opens up waterway. But it would have also been a comfier way than Sponge Bath for Mass to get the E tank, but he is elected. He said, "Hey, I came in here and I actually got two pretty good items with the speed and the plasma, so gonna elect to forego that." And given our knowledge, could very much be the play because this feels like either Ridley or Waterway feels like a good place for an answer to be. Interesting thought experiment from Master's perspective on whether or not you do the Waterway that you just unlocked. Kind of feels bad, but it's also, I don't know. The speed also made the hull runs that he's looking at much more comfortable.
Yeah, it doesn't even need to do the one to Bubble Mountain with that speed. It can just take Frog Speedway. Makes it nice and easy.
This save to me seems to be a hint at Waterway, but that could be projecting on my part. I just don't know why else you would save exactly there.
I think resetting is basically time even with just walking out of the Waterway item, but
yeah, that's a little bit of a faraway save. So Rusty did save. He's got a ton of energy, but not the best beam, and he didn't have the projectile ammo on its own to be able to kill this Ridley. But I expect he'll be perfectly good doing this fight. It isn't too many charge shots, but yeah. My read was correct. We're gonna look at this Waterway, and between this and Ridley, we're either gonna find high jump or gravity, or we're gonna know that one of those is at high jump E tank. As not area randomizer means this gate is there, but a nice second try gate glitch. Both of our runners with no regards for gates and the correct way to shoot them.
Rusty on the final stages of Ridley here. Ridley's nice and angry. And is
there
now
he goes.
defeated.
So this is going to be pretty close to simultaneous checks. I think Rusty's going to show us Ridley E-Tank first, but it's going to be a cool moment. We're going to find out a lot about the tenor of the rest of the seed. And there it is. Gravity suit acquired.
Yeah, that is bad news for Mass. It's still not really going to be able to fight this Ridley until he gets the Varia suit, and it actually would be kind of scary if this was high jump for Mass, because that kind of base him after finding the Varia to just go straight into LN.
Yeah. It's hard to say as we find double jump. Not a terrible place, but we do know, well, if he doesn't do Croc, that's going to be really nice because he'll have the little baby space jump. But yeah, if he could skip Croc, Speed Plasma is actually a really nice haul. Even for the long trek that Rusty's certainly not going to do, that is wreck ship bowling. So, you know, it's definitely not like great. Rusty's pathing map-wise overall has been better, but Speed Plasma are good items.
Yeah, Mass definitely has the firepower and arguably the movement advantage. You could argue that speed actually can be a bit of a hindrance in some spots, and obviously having that double jump instead of the full space jump is non-trivial, and especially in LN. But definitely not fully decided yet. Mass is still... He basically has to head where Varia suit is now. It depends on if Mass decides to do Croc before Bubble Mountain like Rusty did. That will definitely slow him down quite a bit.
I also think, yeah, do the Sloters refill. Shoutouts to Sloters. But yeah, it's weird because once you, I assume, full clear Bubble Mountain, it's 2 Croc items versus 1 Ridley item. But you do have to do Ridley, but it's also up and down an elevator. There's a lot of things that are weighing into that decision for sure. But oh yeah, hold on. Ice was at E-Tank in Wreck Ship. Is that correct? Well, regardless, it's not going to be an Iron Rusty's path because Mass has it.
Ice was at it was at the Bright Supers. So yeah, Ice and Speed are actually both in ship.
Yeah, I hadn't factored that in.
Non-trivial for Rusty.
If Dragon's Vanilla, that's also good for Mass. I don't know how much of a CF Clipper Rusty is.
I mean, we just have a straight 50-50 whether or not Dragon is vanilla or not here.
Yeah. So yeah, Mass actually has quite a few outs here, depending on, especially if he does Croc. But, yeah, definitely gonna see this farm up. And yeah, that's the other thing. Once Mass has gravity, he's just totally in go. Rusty's certainly checking screw attack here, right? You pretty much have to, I feel like.
Yeah, Rusty's checking screw. He's probably checking like Mama Turtle with the gravity suit on the way up. And like even once he gets the ice, he won't be getting speed or plasma. So if Mass is able to get Varia quickly and make the right call to go back for gravity, then this could actually still be advantage Mass in this situation.
Oh, nice morph. Very nice morph. And he's gonna go to Varia first. I'm pretty sure Rusty did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Rusty did reserve first.
Yep.
Yeah, very, very, very much not over. The of non-vanilla Dragon would be decent for Rusty, but again, I don't know how other people play, but if you're in a position, like, say, if Dragon's not vanilla and you can skip the Batoon hallway stuff altogether and whatnot, you're going to be without ice and speed. Like, do you check right super there? Because, especially at that point, you're probably, well, you have a decent shot at ice or speed from that point. So, yeah, wow. There's a lot to be decided here.
Well, you see Rusty going to the screw attack check.
Once again, no issues with the green gate glitch.
There aren't any great items that can be here, unfortunately. Best is like high jump or screw attack, and it is neither.
Just an E-tank. And he was already full and had 6 plus a reserve, so the health definitely not a non-factor down here without screw or plasma, but with all this health in both suits, pretty comfortable. And there's Mass's full beam. He had more missiles but fewer supers, so all of the beams definitely a boon to his position. Yeah, this is a pretty crucial junction, but frankly, I think I've already talked myself into thinking Mass is in the better position regardless of Croc or not. Whether I'm right or not, we'll see. But that's kind of how it feels to me.
It's definitely close. If Mass skips Croc, I think he's ahead. But if not, I think Rusty's still a bit in the lead. Depending on how much ammo he finds, actually, because obviously having the worst beam combo.
Yeah, it's also the case that you just saw Rusty just used a bunch of his ammo. Now, he does know that it's not really down here and has already killed Ridley. So your current ammo count is actually not super consequential, basically, until you enter Torian from this juncture, but Mass can just do new route strategies, basically, without the high jump boots. And yeah, all this stuff that he just gets to not collect. Fanfares definitely add up over time in these seeds.
And I guess saying that Mass could be ahead is all assuming that Dragon is vanilla. If Dragon's just here in LN, then I think it's pretty clear advantage Rusty, even without all the items. But it is quite a bit slower in the last few areas without all these. High jump boots is really nice for Rusty, and I don't know if Mass is going to get those, to be honest.
Yeah, that's a very skippable item when you're in full go mode. And it does look like he's going to do this Croc. He's got charged plasma though, so it is going to be a quicker Croc, and it will get him the space jump to be a little bit more on parity with Rusty. But yeah, this is definitely not the critical path for Mass going forward. This is an interesting save. There's like nothing that could possibly hurt you down here, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the save is worried about. Like, you're either fighting Kraid, which you don't need to save for, or you're fighting Dragon and you have grapple both suits.
Or you're fighting Fan 2 and you have both suits, because he doesn't know it's not Fan yet.
Oh, true. But yeah, again, that's still not a... I guess just potentially worried about, going through these areas without plasma or screw attack, taking too much damage, but Even then, you've got
So
so
much-
much health and a crystal flash. Feels like it might be a little bit overly cautious. But...
Yep.
Either way, Rusty gonna take the save.
Here's
So,
another place where Mass's beam and or speed can save time.
yep, won't need to go for the gate glitch. Can just do this the intended way.
Yeah, as well
Or
as those
mostly
metal
intended.
pirates.
You do have to jump a little bit late without high jump to actually make the ledge, but technically don't even need to do that with double jump for Mass.
Yep. So yeah, you have to fight your muscle memory to farm in that room. And it is Kraid.
And it is Kraid. So
Dragon is vanilla.
that is really good news for Mass, who just picked up that space jump. I assume we'll probably see Mass go back to Ridley.
His only worry would be that the answer is actually at Wreckship E-Tank, but because, I mean, he very, very much deliberately did not check that, so...
You can't worry about that anymore. If that happens,
Can't.
like, that's just... It just happens, right? You can't play, like, the answer's there, though.
For sure. You're definitely going to have to see what the rest of the items here in Lower Norfolk are. Like we said it before high jump pickup that there was very little good left, and with high jump being picked up, there's even less good to pick up, and that was only an E-Tank. So possibly, yeah. We were talking about it earlier, but it feels even more true because I was just thinking like, you're gonna go to Mama Turtle because, I mean, especially from his perspective, he's seen two switched bosses between Kraid and Ridley. So it can be the case that Dragon and Phantoon are at home, or it could be the case that they're switched and it doesn't really matter. Both of those are possible. But if Phantoon's just at Dragon, if Phantoon's there in Wreck Ship, then obviously the items are there. But if Phantoon's back there, then, you know, there's a lot of weird things that could happen with regards to whether or not you need Ice or Speed, or whether they're available, or how good it is. And he has to think about all those things. Mass just has to go once he kills Ridley and finds the gravity suit.
Yeah, I think if you're not comfortable with the CF clip, then you're just going to ship no matter what. We'll see if he wants to check the Mama Turtle location on the way. Yeah, this
Mama
is the
Turtle very on the
quote-unquote
way.
easy CF clip loadout with the bombs and gravity, but it's still not free by any stretch of the imagination.
For certain. So this is a standard 20-shot fight with the non-standard lack of high jump boots, because if you're playing the vanilla game, you get those unless you're playing low percent. But Mass looks really comfortable getting these nice pogo manips.
Yeah, I wish low percent was a 20-shot fight.
Yes, the lack of high jump boots is by far not the biggest thing that deters you from killing Ridley in low percent. But yeah, Mass doing an excellent job. Rusty with very comfortable high jump and space jump movement, getting out of Lower Norfair. And he has things to do. He has to either Crystal Flash Clip or find the ice, which is the earlier of the two Wreck Ship items leading through Batoon Hallway, or I think I gave both of his options. Yeah, Mass is about to be in go mode and positionally at quite a deficit, but item-wise at an advantage. And Rusty is once again not doing Speedless Speedway.
Kind of interesting. There might be the like mentality of being scared of soft locking there, but if you do it correctly, I don't think you'd ever soft lock on it. Like, there's definitely been cases of a lot of people just messing it up, not shooting enough or not shooting fast enough. But like, if you just mash shot, I don't think I've ever soft locked on it once.
Yep.
But I wonder if that's what Rusty's thinking about.
Yep. So we're going to see Mass start to absolutely fly as he attempts to run through the rest of the seed. Needs 0 more item pickups I would be shocked if he looked at like basically anything. The only thing you could really want is high jump.
You might check behind like Kraid and Dragon, but other than that, yeah, I don't think you're checking any items. I guess you also run past Batoon tank.
I forgot Rusty also had this option, the Kraid tank.
Oh yeah.
Can you find
something
good? Well,
not really.
not really. Attack, lots of utility in Lore Warfare, and even if you get it early, like it's still pretty decent because every enemy pretty much dies from it. But from this point, it's gonna mess up Dragon's goo AI and not a ton else, other than make Ice Zep skip harder if he ends up with the Ice Beam.
Yeah, as mentioned, Rusty also going to check this Mama Turtle. Just checking everything on the way to avoid going to ship, but unfortunately, as we know, Wreck Ship has all the goods. At least in terms of getting through Batoon Hallway.
Yeah. The one thing I actually hadn't thought of is that this is one of those places where it's a little bit awkward because of this item, like, I'm gonna say longitude-wise, which is a terrible way to describe a 2D map or whatever, but it's kind of at the same level as X-Ray, and you kind of have to pick one because they're in different places. So X-Ray could also be on his mind.
Yeah, it looks like it is. He's actually going back down to X-Ray. I kind of forgot that Rusty hadn't checked it yet, to be honest. I think it was just an E-tank though, right?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Or no, it was double jump. Right? No, double jump was waterway. So yeah, it was an E-tank.
Yeah.
Nice fast pillars.
Yeah, get that spark. He did the lag reduction strat in the pre-pillars before laying that power bomb. Like I said, he's got the full beam to make this room a lot more comfy. No ammo usage here, although he is taking his time a little bit. But yeah, this is really, really, really interesting to see how this one ends up playing out.
Doesn't have forever. Yeah, he is still technically behind Rusty a little bit.
Yeah,
has the speed and plasma, but does need to execute in order to pull ahead.
Rusty has little enough ammo that the plasma beam really, really is a boon to Mass, as well as how little ammo Mass has.
I mean, just the plasma alone actually speeds up Mother Brain so much for Mass.
Yeah. Depending on how people feel, Mass for sure absolutely does not need to ship refill. Basically, unless his ammo is 0-0, where Rusty, it's probably worth it pretty much regardless of refill at ship. So that's another place of time that it's going to be given. Okay, this is actually maybe worth screw attack because you get to space through those things. He didn't end up doing the little uppercut jump shot 3 strat that I like to do, but still good. It's definitely not worth 7 seconds, but it feels good, and that's worth something.
It's definitely something. But yeah, it is good news for Rusty that the progression is the first item that I'll check. He will fight Fantoon and then go straight to right supers for that ice beam.
Yeah, and he didn't do left sandpit, or left sandpit felt a little bit likely before coming here, but didn't end up.
Left sandpit
a lot less likely.
A little bit too silly, I think.
Yeah, it's hard because it's like, how on path do I think the seed is? What odds am I playing? And again, if this was Dragon, then you don't actually need either of those items because the gray doors open up. So this definitely feels like more often than not it was the correct answer. But yeah, we're gonna have to see how much time, space, and plasma can give Mass over Rusty, because he's definitely gonna be into Meridia first. Nice backup quick kill there for Mass. Let's see if he does want this item. It's not anything from my memory. Yeah, just a tank. For whatever reason, boss items just feel better to look at when you're in go mode versus something even like Firefly, which is in room, no door transition. He can get those high jump boots, especially. It's actually, I think it's probably still good time wise, but I don't expect him to get it. Those other things that I haven't taken into account. The Botswin kill, really nice for Mass. Rusty, definitely going to be going for 10 supers. We'll see if he tries to X Factor. We'll have basically any vanilla category loadout is going to be doing that. So, very interested to see how this shapes up from here, as Fantoon definitely giving Rusty a little bit of an issue. The slow patterns all suck, in my opinion, and I'm probably not alone in that extremely cold take. The flames were not being super kind, and I think Fantoon's a super away. Yeah, Fantoon was like 2 missiles away, as it turned out. My Kokam has stepped away for a brief moment, but will definitely be back with us shortly. I know for a fact he also doesn't want to miss this exciting finish, as our runners are...
What's up? I am in fact back shortly.
Yeah, Mass not going to have high jump, Rusty not going to have speed or plasma, but quickly closing on this ice. And I said Rusty was going to be Meridia first. I'm way less confident about that now than when I said it.
Yeah, I definitely underestimated how much faster the lower Norfair would be for Mass without having to go to that screw attack location or anything like that. He's actually, I think, going to make it to Meridia first, or at least like very close, and then I think the extra items probably take it home.
Yeah, speed to make everything comfortable. You don't got to stop and gather the Metroid. You got space jump, so full half he barely even saves time. So yeah, Mass looks like he's in a pretty good position here, as Rusty has found the go mode that is Ice Beam. So race to the finish here. We're gonna see the normal speedway with the speed booster here.
Yeah, I think Rusty's actually the first to Brinstar, but Mass is the first to Meridia because he's coming from the bottom and he's so much closer to the actual Meridia entry.
Yeah, those darn right-facing gates that can't be glitched. Or you could see a little top versus bottom action, but yeah. We have simultaneous other rides. That's fun. So yeah, that trip up to ship when Mass did it, it does look like it was the winning play, as well as not doing the only item in Wreck Ship that probably isn't a good item because we got ice, speed, and plasma. Like, talk about a stacked ship.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing it could have been is Spring Ball now, or I guess X-Ray would actually would have been kind of nice for this Dragon fight, but definitely not a huge deal. Probably not worth the minute time to get it. I think it's about a minute to check that item and get back.
Depending on I've said for sure. So yeah, Mass actually entering Meridia first. We can spark up here if we press the down button.
Health, it looks like. I'm not sure if it was intentional, but that's what ended up happening.
You get to remember that this is a super door and power bomb blocks in vanilla map. No flashing door or bomb blocks here.
Rusty is hot on Mass's heels. Does have that high jump, which is still a non-trivial movement advantage, but definitely not the advantage that speed is going to be.
Yeah, it's funny. In different rooms, different items are going to be better. Like in Fish Tank, probably high jump is just strictly better than speed. In Botswin Hallway, speed's going to be better. In some places, they're going to be a little bit of a wash. In the Escape, however, speed definitely going to be better.
I'd like Mass to finish off this fight with a charge shot instead of using all the supers, but that's alright.
Yeah.
Not a huge deal. If this is a knee tank, he might actually stop to pick it up, while Rusty most likely won't. There's Spring Ball, so that's our final major, other than X-Ray.
Yeah, couple races in a row, we've seen basically everything. Not actually very common in Major Minor that we've checked. But we haven't checked Left Sandpit, we haven't checked Spring Ball, we're not going to look at Plasma. And that's it. It's 3 majors. Or no, because Rusty did Gauntlet, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Rusty did Gauntlet at the beginning with an E-Tank. Because he had the extra E-Tank, which let him go straight into the... I guess Rusty actually has to pick up this item without speed. And the Spring Ball is going to be nice, getting him through this little maze.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've seen almost all of the items outside of these slow East Meridia checks.
Depending on if anyone looks behind Dragon, it'd be 30 or 31 out of 34 majors checked. Full beam here.
Not like the checking behind Dragon here for Mass, especially with a good way to get out of the fight with that base jump. See if he gets this quick kill. Nice.
I was going to say 7 hits of that full beam, but he elected to just do a couple of charge shots and then very nice goo gather into the quick grapple. Very, very nicely done, fighters. We're going to be on that platform together. A little bit of a high five in and out of Dragon. Very, very, very tightly contested race here.
Looks like Rusty might be opening up with a spark or two before doing the grapple kill, most likely.
I like to see when people are like so muscle memoried in that they like do the like taps for a short charge that doesn't exist without the speed booster.
I've definitely done that. Technically, Rusty could have turned off the Ice Spazer and gone for full any % kill. But just gonna go for the grapple strats. This is the easy side, although that goo was not nice from Dragon. Just nothing. There was no goo that was actually coming towards Rusty, so he had to jump, and unfortunately didn't quite get back into position fast enough. So
yeah, I think he definitely wasn't flush with the wall. So takes the ride up. I'm always conflicted on whether you should just take Dragon for a ride or escape and go for the next pattern and do some damage in between.
I think when you've got this much health, like if you're not worried about Dragon straight up like killing you, then you probably are supposed to take it up. And Rusty actually got pretty lucky. Didn't, I think only got 1 spank from Dragon.
Rusty did end up checking behind, basically for speed or plasma. So yeah, 31 major items checked out of 34. And somehow neither runner even ended up on the second row of E-Tanks. Although they definitely saw some. There's right? Left Sandpit, Plasma, Spring Ball.
Yeah, and the Wreck Ship E-Tank. So 4.
Oh yeah, no one looked at Wreck Ship E-Tank. That's really funny. You're right. 4 unchecked majors. And under an hour between the 2 runners. But a little bit of a slower vanilla map time, but given the boss shuffle situation and the layout of the map and how the items ended up, I'm going to say not really the worst time for either runner, basically. Definitely the best route is probably just going up to Wreck Ship straight away. And maybe even doing bowling, honestly. Speed's really good, and so's Plasma. And you have those for basically the whole run, but not necessarily something you would expect from anyone. But you know, Mass actually took the ship save, which I didn't expect.
Yeah, I was about to comment, like, we were talking about how Mass was able to skip that, but opted to take it anyways. His health was a little low, maybe? He was about half. Unfortunately, no 7th E-Tank means no stand-up for Mass, but we were definitely underestimating how much the speed and Plasma would speed Mass up. He's in a position where stand-up wouldn't even matter that much. He's just straight up a minute ahead.
Yeah. I also think Fantoon was definitely a little slow on Rusty's side, but...
Yeah, I missed the Fantoon fight. I didn't see what happened, but it seemed like it took a while, given that he was just finishing it when I came back.
Yeah. MassHesteria in a commanding position to even up his record at 3-3 and qualify for those brackets with a side benefit of boosting my blue Colts. That's definitely what was most important here today.
Yeah, that was the only stakes. Which one of us got the blue Colts? And unfortunately, it is not I.
You were already ahead of me, so it's okay.
Just have to use the secret technique of losing so my opponent has a better score for my boot goals.
Increase your boot golds and definitely decrease your seed. That's some nicely executed Metroid rooms for Mass, and somehow we called it completely the opposite because Rusty didn't ship refill.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised about that, but this is still new route beam. It's not too bad to do without a ship refill.
It's an interesting mental exercise because if you're used to vanilla speedruns, you're like, well, they don't ship refill no matter their resources, but in an any percent speedrun, when you have 15 or 20 missiles and 10 supers, you're not going to have any extra to use on the fight, where with this amount of resources, you're definitely going to have quite a bit of supers left over on the fight, which are, but I guess 3 times the speed or 3 times the DPS of charge shots. So you have to weigh the time it takes to ship refill, which is variable depending on your current health mostly. That's what takes the longest to refill.
That Metroid room was a little bit rough for Rusty. Didn't quite get the second Metroid, so had to go back for it. Getting good super drops, though. We might end up seeing him have a pretty sizable amount exiting room 4. I say as he proceeds to get one drop from room 3.
Oh my goodness, he came in with 16 and finished with 15. With an unfortunate Kojak. Well, not really a Kojak, he just kind of missed it. But
yeah, just
pretend it was a Kojak because it's a fun word to say.
So not the best outcome, but again, with that new route beam, Rusty's not too upset about not having those supers. And as we know, it will not be what makes the difference.
All right. Mass down with Mother Brain 1 as Rusty enters the baby cutscene. Has a good equipment set for a speedless baby skip. Thanks. Optimally, it's probably only like one more jump, right?
I think you can do it in the same number of jumps, I believe. You just have to line up for it differently for the first couple jumps. Doesn't look like Rusty was even going for it, to be honest. He just kind of jumped into the Metroid. Got as far as he could on the screen, and then faced right for the frames.
It looks like a blink and I missed it Mother Brain fight from Mass. That's the power of full beam combo.
It turns out 20 shots does not take a lot of time.
It does not. We'd have to see what Rusty decides to do here. His options are A, the down back Zeb skip, B, the second Zeb skip where you missile the first one and then you do a little morph on morph, or option 3, which is just turn off the screw attack and do the normal one.
I would have liked the second skip, to be honest. It's very easy to spring ball. It would have, reduced the menu. Wouldn't have to do the kind of tricky down back skip. But either way, Rusty is through. With the high jump, it's not too bad to have True Attack unequipped. You can still get through the Adox room without bonking on the pirate with your iframes from the first room. Although I guess without speed, you don't have those iframes.
Yeah, so don't have those iframes.
You just let yourself get shot before going through the door, I guess. We'll see. Not the biggest deal either way, though.
So I would just use my supers and my charge shot and not care about the 3 missiles that I could use to speed this up very slightly. So 55 charge shots plus the 5 supers you already shot. They do the same amount of damage, 300. Shoutouts to the HUD and the dash randomizer, giving you your charge beam damage information at all times. No need to press exclamation point beams in your chat with Fun Tune equipped.
You say that as Masses actually gets turned off with the hyper beam. Now he does infinite damage. By infinite, I mean I think 750 actually, because I think it is just charge wave plasma.
I thought it did 1,000 damage.
Does it?
Based on
You might be right.
The amount of health that Mother Brain 3 has.
That would make more sense. I know it's coded as like a charged plasma shot, which is why it's so laggy. Or something like that. I don't know.
Interesting.
I might just not know what I'm talking about. That is a distinct possibility.
Super Metroid commentary, where we definitely know what we're talking about, probably.
I've played this game before. Allegedly.
You're going to see the final power of the speed booster here in Escape. That's room number 1 where you save a bunch of time getting the spark, and then in Climb you're also going to save a bunch of time. This is the room where the high jump shows off its power, but we got the space jump, so not too bad. And
also within the room where the screw attack shows off its power, being able to just wall jump up the left side as mentioned, without worrying about that pirate up above you.
As long as you wall jump with good timing and do the little wiggle to not have the wall jump pose lack of screw stuff. Yeah, sparking up that climb. Mass is probably, if I was in this position, like an hour 5 into this, I'm like, where's the snipe? Where's the snipe? Where's the snipe? Like, it feels like it's coming, probably.
Yeah, Mass does not feel good having to go all the way up to ship, but honestly, with all the items he found, it ended up paying off pretty well.
Especially right when you do it, you probably don't feel great about it, but once you get more of the tenor of the seed, it probably feels pretty good. But yeah, Mass in first place, a race time finish of 1 hour 5 minutes and 51 seconds, and with that victory, like we said, qualifies for the playoff bracket with a 3-3 record. Nicely done to Mass, and like we said, with this being the off pairing, Rusty was already in there, also going to be sitting at 3-3. And the tournament continues for both of our runners.
Yep, now both runners making it into playoffs, and Rusty going to be finishing out the run. It was in the Mother Brain 2 cutscene when the dot done came in. We are joined by MassHesteria, who just qualified for the mystery tournament playoffs. GG, how you feeling?
GG, thanks. Yeah, feeling good. That was a fun one. I was I'm not really sure what Rusty did, but for whatever reason I was like, I'm just gonna run up to wreck ship and see what happens. And when I found ice and speed, I was like, oh man, I'm feeling pretty good. But then I didn't find anything else, and I was like, this may have been bad. And then later I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe this was good. And then it's one of these just back and forth. So
yes, indeed, as we are also joined by Rusty's. GG's to you. Yeah, I was saying just a little bit ago, when you get it, it's like, well, there's probably a suit in Norfair, which I just left, but on the other hand, especially because you knew it was shuffled, but you don't know where Dragon is, it ended up being vanilla, and that makes both ice and speed really, really valuable. And with Rusty staying down in Norfair, ending at wreck ship, only getting the ice beam. Speed, being speed into plasma, both at the top of wreck ship is really funny, but yeah. Nicely done to you.
Speed at gravity then, or at wreck ship E.
Yeah, at gravity. Somehow we didn't see E-Tank, which is a little funny, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, GG, Rusty.
Thanks for the race.
You bet.
Yeah, this seed was pretty easy to get superstitious about with that opening.
Yeah.
It kind of made you wonder, is this a PRKD seed? Or a KPDR seed?
Yeah, I think they were just saying maybe Fantune first, or maybe they were saying that on comments, like maybe that would have been the best, but I'm just that's not my thing, so I don't know about you.
Well, getting speed is great. I needed to go up there anyway. I don't have the crystal flash clips.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did everything down below and then went up to the ship to look for ice and or speed.
Yep. It was definitely an interesting one. Shuffled bosses in vanilla map definitely presents some unique challenges. Seeing that really right away, and especially with you know the boss at Wreck Ship, you did have that grapple beam from ice. That number one, it made it easier to get over to Wreck Ship, but made that boss killable, provided you're good with that bootless grapple escape. But only Phantom was going to unlock those items, and that is how it turned out. Mass getting 3 good items in 3 checks from the Wreck Ship. Presumably, Wreck Ship E-Tank was just an E-Tank because neither of you ever saw it, and we've seen every major that isn't screw or isn't X-ray. So, yeah, very very nice finds and well run waste from both of you.
Yeah, I guess my my biggest regret was doing Croc before Bubble Mountain. It would have, it was like a coin flip, but I just felt like Croc was the answer today, and it was Space Jump. And then I was thinking about doing High Jumpless Lava Dive, but I decided to play it safe. It's probably too slow to fail a bunch of times at it.
It's funny you said you did Croc first. Like as I was heading, so like I went down and checked a couple things, and then I went up to ship. And as I was coming back through, I was like, maybe I just need to do Croc first. I was like, you've already wasted a bunch of time. Like, just check the stuff at the top, and if you have to do Croc, which I did Croc too. It was like, if you have to do Croc, then just do it later. And so, I think in that case we both got all the same checks there. So.
Yeah, doing High Jumpless Lava Dive probably would have saved me some time rather than going all the way back to Ridley to then go all the way back down.
I was gonna say basically it was top of ship and waterway for Mass, and then Rusty did the extra Lore and Orpher checks as well as Crate Tank. And just speed and plasma. Turns out those are really good items.
That's right. I would have loved to have speed.
Man, I tell you though, I thought that waterway, I was like, I'm feeling it. This is gonna be it. Waterway required.
Nah,
Super
Waterway
Troll.
E-Tank. Of course, it's the all vanilla game. Wave at wave beam, everything. Yeah, anyway.
Double jump was nice for the 5 minutes before you got space jump.
Yeah, I used it at least once. At least
For sure.
Used it getting up Bubble Mountain, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, double jump should work underwater. Now there's one for the dash devs.
I like it. I think actually, I think maybe Kip was trying to pitch me at one point on like some sort of like scuba diving type equipment where like
That's right.
your reserves like deplete and you can move in water for like 5 seconds.
Now that sounds like a weird and wacky idea.
That's such a Kip suggestion, actually.
It's like, okay, so can we do this? But should we?
We can, but should we?
So yeah.
Well, guys, I really appreciate y'all. I know y'all just did back to back, so I really appreciate y'all coming and Nubian for tracking on this.
Yep, excited. I was very happy to be able to watch this and the previous match and not have to look at one while calming the other. And we were having some fun because I played Mass previously and Derp played Rusty. So whichever one of you win boosted one of our Blue Code scores. That was kind of fun. But yeah, excited to see both of you continue into the playoffs. It should be a fun time.
Blood rivalries everywhere in this tournament.
That's right. We will scratch and claw for every single Blue Gold Twin we can possibly get. But yeah, only 3 more races to go tonight. This has been a very, very packed day of mystery action. We've got Salty versus Leslie Pro coming up at 7, Craze Gamer versus J-Ro at 8, and Beep versus Lies at 10:30. So if you love Super Metroid Randomizer, there's still a lot more content to come your way. Stick around with us on SpeedGaming 6 for that first match and SpeedGaming for the final 2. So Thank you all for joining us. Thank you to our racers. And like Matt said, thanks to Nubian God for helping us out. I'm gonna give everybody a shout out and let my co-com Derp finish us out here.
Yeah, I mean, you've already pretty much covered anything. But again, follow our lovely runners, Iron Rusty and MassHesteria. Got me and D-Web on the comms and Nubian God on the tracking. We're all cool, I like to think. But that is going to do it for us, so we will see you next mission.